Hey, welcome to Fort Nisqually, everybody. My name's Joel. It's Saturday here at the fort and we're currently closed to the public, but we're going to use this opportunity to take you through a couple of our buildings, show you some different skills, and give you some ideas for some activities, 19th century crafts and projects you can be doing at home right now while you've got some extra time on your hands. This is going to be a 2-minute, ultra-fast run through how we do candle making and how we recycle our candles here at Fort Nisqually. At the fort in the 19th century, candles would have been made in the winter over at the slaughterhouse using a mixture of tallow, which would have been melted or rendered animal fats from beef, the cattle, and the sheep, mixing those together to make a candle that was about 50-50 of each. What we're going to do today is show you how we melt down and recycle some of the candles that we use from our events like Trapped, our escape games, and our October candlelight tour. These are just short IKEA candles, so this is going to be exactly like candles that you've got around the house. And we're going to show you how we melt them and form them into a 19th century mold, but also show you how you can be doing this at home. The process is super simple. You're going to take wicking, you're going to wick it through your mold, you're going to melt your wax, pour your wax, let it cool, and then you can pull it out and use it. The important part of this process is that in the threading, a way to make it easy, Josiah, one of our other interpreters, waxed the tip of this wicking so you can see where it bends, and then you can see how the tip of this is a little more stiff. That's going to be an easy way for us to thread it through the holes on our mold. But if you don't do this, you can also just use a needle, or I like to use this little scrap piece of wire that I found lying around to be able to push through your wicking, hold it in place so that you can pull it through the bottom. These are some 19th century molds, but you can use things very like this that you can find on Amazon, or just use a mason jar or any kind of container that you've got around the house. The idea is going to be pretty much the same. When we're wicking through this mold that can do a half dozen candles at the same time, we'll thread it through, we're going to pull it out the bottom, and then we're going to send it back through the other. So we'll be going back and forth, top to bottom, over to the next one, top to bottom, over to the next, and then through the end. Once we've got it threaded through the whole thing, like you can see these are, what we do is we plug the bottom with some wax. So we take an old candle, we're going to light this one up, and then we're going to use the wax as it drips to plug all the holes. You can do this with clay, and then that's going to be really easy and you won't have to worry about it melting. But wax is going to be just the cheapest, fastest, easiest thing that you can use to plug. If you do plug the holes once you've got them wicked with wax, just make sure that you let your wax cool down a little bit before you pour it, because that hot wax will melt right through the plugs, and then you're going to have some spilling and leaking at the bottom of your mold. So just put a plate or some paper towels or something underneath it, and then you won't have to worry about that either. If you're doing this in an open container like a mason jar, you're going to do the same idea. You use a stick, popsicle, pencil, whatever you want to hold your wicking in place, but then you can just have it going right to the bottom of that open container. You won't have to worry about threading back and forth. Once we've got our wax melted down, you can see over on our period stove there, we've got old candles melting in an old tin cup that we had lying around. And once that's ready and we've got our candles threaded, we're going to use a piece of wood, any kind of scrap material that's going to space out the wicking so that it goes right down the middle. If it's off to the side too much, you're going to have a candle that doesn't burn evenly. So we found a little piece in our scrap pile that fits just right with this. We'll space out our wicking, and then at that point we're going to take our hot wax, we're going to pour it in, let it fill all the way to the top and even spill out a little bit and fill up the rest of this base. And then we're going to let it set for about 45 minutes to an hour. At that point, it's going to be easy for you to come back, draw those candles out, and then you'll have a half dozen new candles made out of some of your old scrap material, and you can go ahead and use those around the house. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go ahead and try this at home, and then we'd love to hear about how the process went for you. You can interact with us on the Fort Nisqually Facebook page. Good luck!